Oh boy, it's time for another video where Kustopia talks about a game nobody's ever heard of. But for real, about 6 months ago, I was eating lunch with my college friends and the topic of my YouTube channel came up. Back then, I was kinda picky who I told about Kustopia, which was completely thrown out the window by April. But when I told my friends I made video game related content, one of them told me to make a video on Tux And Fanny. And when I asked him what that was, he told me he had no clue and just saw it on the Nintendo Switch store once. Tux and Fanny kind of became an inside joke in my friend group, with all of them begging me to make a video on it. But after a month or so, I got to thinking, maybe I should check it out. It was only $10, and judging from the reviews, it was a good game with a decent runtime. So I decided to check it out, and I gotta say, this game is weird, but in the best way possible. Tux and Fanny was originally an animated series on YouTube created by American animator Albert Burney. It follows two Russian pink and purple humans known as Tux and Fanny, two best friends who live together and go on adventures. The animated series is still going on, and while I haven't watched all of it, from what I've seen, it's pretty good and you should check it out. When it comes to the Tux and Fanny game, it's a puzzle game that was co-created by Albert Burney and Gabriel Koenig, and within it, you play as the titular Tux and Fanny. You go around collecting items, solving puzzles, and a lot more as absolute insanity goes on around you. Like a lot of people have already pointed out, the series has a similar tone and feeling to shows like Salad Fingers, Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, and a lot of early 2000s animations on YouTube. But despite Tux and Fanny's aesthetic and tone leaning towards the weird and creepy side, the series is actually really kind-hearted and sweet. I'll get more into it during my deep dive of the game, but before I begin, I wanna just give a quick spoiler warning. Tux and Fanny is such a great game and I couldn't get enough. It'll amaze you, it'll disgust you, and it'll even make you think about your life and your place in it. You can even read the entirety of Moby Dick. The puzzles are interesting and you won't get too stuck on any of them. There's so many different genres of animation and gameplay, and most of the minigames are fun. Except Tim Tooth. If you play the game and encounter Tim Tooth, run. The OST is also top tier and quite large, but in fear of getting hit by YouTube's hammer of justice, I can't play it here. So yeah, play the game. It's only 10 clams. Now, let's get into the beautifully bizarre world of Tux and Fanny. Now, as you open up the game, you're instantly transported into this strange, almost ethereal, pixelated world. It's then that we meet our two main characters, Tux and Fanny, whose overarching quest and journey for the entirety of the game is to find a pump and inflate their soccer ball. But despite how mundane that quest actually sounds, the journey to reinflation is a weird and crazy one. Like I said before, this game is unapologetically weird. You have to tube down a river to a secret island, tame a group of seagulls through song in order to use them to fast travel, you need to befriend a large series of goblins through various strange challenges, and you even take part in an 8-phase boss fight, which gets weirdly emotional. Needless to say, this game is incredibly strange and unpredictable, and you'll never be bored because you genuinely have no clue what's gonna happen next. Like, what do you mean I have to save a colony of ants and they'll reward me with a watermelon that I have to use to engage a goblin in a seed-spitting battle to earn his respect? And I'm just scratching the surface because this game gets insane. But despite all this weirdness, the game is also really calming. The tracks that play are so tranquil and serene, and as someone who grew up with all these old YouTube animations, the world itself oozes with so much nostalgia. But even if you didn't grow up with those kinds of videos, the world itself feels so whimsical and childlike. Despite how old Tux and Fanny sound, they love to look at bugs under rocks. They love to play video games and kick soccer balls. They can't even play a scary game by themselves and need the other to be there before they do. And of course, they love to play and draw. All of those things honestly brought me back to my own childhood. It made me feel so relaxed and at peace while playing. Hell, a lot of those minigames actually reminded me of Flash games I used to play when I was a kid. But despite how childlike Tux and Fanny can be, they're both incredibly self-aware and mature. Tux, the pink one, is a dreamer and very imaginative, while Fanny, the purple one, seems to be a lot more realistic. A really good example of how they differ is during a scene when the two of them find a tunnel that leads to a path directly underneath their house. There, they find an arrow lodged into the wall, with letters engraved in the dirt that say, "It goes by fast." While Fanny questions who wrote the message, Tux acknowledges the message itself, saying that it most certainly does, either referring to how fast an arrow is, or how fast life passes. And the best part is that with these characters, it could very well be both. The two both share this incredible adoration for life. One second they'll be dancing together and playing piano in their living room, and the next they'll be talking about how fleeting life is and how important it is to live it. They love watching sunsets, expressing how they don't want to let them pass by unnoticed. They adore having dreams, and with almost every creature or animal they encounter, they treat them with so much respect and care. Even after engaging a giant angry fly in an 8-phase boss battle, Tux and Fanny watch the sunset with it one last time before it dies. This thing tried to eat them, and they still shed tears for it. Not only do they show love to the creatures around them, but they also show genuine love for each other. They always seem to enjoy each other's company, and even when they tease or compete with each other, it's never mean-spirited. But Tux and Fanny isn't just a game about Tux and Fanny themselves. You take control of a vast assortment of creatures and characters. You play as a cat that's just trying to find a comfortable rock to sleep on. You play as a worm that has to escape 2 different animals' digestive tracts so that you can return to your spouse and children underground. You can play as a giant robot that tries to help humanity, but instead just destroys everything it touches. You can be a maggot that has to keep its people from starving while feasting on the corpses of animals. And you even play as a small flea trying to save the next generation of its people from complete extinction. Tux and Fanny lets us play as all these strange creatures in these bizarre situations, and you come out of it appreciating life even more. You want to see that flea honor his deceased flea wife and flea friends and continue their legacy. You want to see that worm return to his family after being digested twice. But like I said before, the game isn't just good for how weird it is, but it also shines in its moments of mundanity. After fist fighting a giant muscular fly man or transforming into a duck, the scenes where Tux and Fanny just lie on the ground and look at clouds or birdwatch truly make the game even more special. Despite all the chaos around them, how their house just sometimes glitches and evil doppelgangers try to take over, or how they get kidnapped by aliens, Tux and Fanny both never fail to enjoy the peaceful things in life. I think they genuinely show more interest in finding a cool bug or flower than encountering a unicorn. I think that balance between the weird insanity and grounded realism is what makes the game so compelling to me. It also explains why I enjoy shows like Gumball and Regular Show. 2 shows that mix the peaceful moments in life with absolute absurdity. Although we as people will probably never have to face an alien kidnapping or the need to fix the code to our very existence, we still have to deal with things in our life that we feel are crazy. God, do I know how that feels. But with how crazy our lives can get, it's good to sometimes lie down and look at the sky or read a book. And even more, there's this specific line in the game relating to our lives that just hits me. When you stand by the water, you have the option to use your binoculars to look out into the sea. And when you do, you see a massive hulking train go by. And when it passes by, Tux and Fanny will say this. That line really got me, because isn't what they've been doing this entire time an adventure? They've skied down mountains, avoided clowns on their bicycles, and crawled through dungeons. If this wasn't an adventure, then what was it? And that's when it hit me. All of this lunacy, this weirdness that Tux and Fanny have to face is just their everyday lives. Even if it's completely unpredictable or comes completely out of left field, the 2 of them continue forward. They treat every single day of their lives as a gift, no matter what happens, and they share that love with the creatures around them. And more importantly, they share that love with each other. This isn't a game about a grand adventure or an epic quest. It's a story about 2 best friends just trying to inflate their soccer ball. And the best part about it all is that the game's ending immediately segues into the first episode of the web series. It shows us that all that's happened is just another day for Tux and Fanny. And while they do run into problems, they keep going. In the end, not only is Tux and Fanny a beautifully nostalgic look into web culture and flash games of the early 2000s, but its incredible weirdness mixed with the mundanity of everyday activities make it clear that the game is a tribute to life as well. So treat your life as a gift. Cherish the weird and the mundane, and remember, stay away from Tim Tooth. My name is Kustopia, and thank you all for watching.